First of all, maybe I can say something about my initial principles of making works for depict more full picture of this project. So usually I work with museums, and my interest to museums started from intuition in impression of Museum of Revolution in Eastern Europe in general, or in Moscow. All our Museum of History are previous former museums of revolutions, and of course they all were based on historical materialism or Marxist dialectics. So for years it was a forbidden philosophical approach, but right now I feel that there is a new wave of interest to this approach, and to my mind not only such type of museums tend to be more or less historical materialist museums, but all types of museums in general tend to be more or less historical materialist museums, because it's something which is in the principle of displaying works, because all works on one hand, of course, material objects, but on the other hand, all works usually connect with all others inside the exhibitions, and so it's for me it's like a spatial version of historical development. So this really interesting connection between, on one hand, radical materialistic view, on the other hand, something which is deep inside of exhibition in general and museum in general. So particularly for this project, I should say that my idea appeared after our discussion around classification of mankind according to different types of tools, and I understood that maybe all types of tool, or especially in case of, for example, museums of revolutionary tools or weapons, of course, can be classified according to development of labor, society, and more or less rare earths in general. And one of the important step here was this work by Ivan Shadr. This is one of the famous Soviet sculpture artists, and he made one famous work. The cobblestone is the weapon of the proletariat. So it was like first step and first intuition that cobblestone, like more or less part of Earth and part of our planet, could be understood as weapon. So then I decided to produce this chronology, which consists 5 segments, and I can say that it's let's say proper Marxist analysis. Of course not. It's more artistic way of thinking, because we have 5 groups: slaves, peasants, workers, precariat workers, and material workers, and one imaginary category, idealiad. But we cannot define them as classes, and on the other hand, we cannot define them as groups which have particular types of exploitation. So it depends but it's more like slogans and like marks for marking territory, mapping this story. So something about classification. Maybe it's my personal failure, but usually my connection with contemporary art as a person who has more or less, of course, leftist position and activist role. But my connection with contemporary art was on the territory of these autonomy zones usually. But unfortunately, all the time I feel that all this experience are already absorbed somehow by our political system, economical system, and it's one of the important driving factor for capitalism in general, because capitalism in general is really radical, utopian, revolution-based system. And but I do believe in, let's say, maybe in future, real political changing in our society. But I can't believe that we can use, for example, art for this transformation. So I try to divide these practices and try to operate it in different roles. For example, I was involved in the rising of social movement in Russia in the last few years, as more as activist, not as artist. And I should say that, for example, in case of Occupy movement, I did not understand why people want to, for example, make exhibitions there, because for me it was already really creative approach to life, because for example during this protest, I guess that people participated in creating history, let's say. So it's one of the most advanced and utopian form of art in general, when you don't have these borders between art, life and politics, but it's just one surface, and you fight and you create life and history itself. So I think that in this situation we don't need special artistic equipment, painting, or I don't know, installation or something. We already all artists. We don't need this definition: artist, not artist, revolutionary or not revolutionary. So, but this moment is really short, usually, and unfortunately it's kind of utopian moment. So it's like really rare particular time in history when we can do things like this. And usually people do not believe to artists during this protest, but they believe to politicians. That's why, for example, radical actionists from Russia, like Vienna Group or Pussy Riot, did not work properly during this growing, because when you start to politicize society, when you start to spread your ideas, it works. But when people already on the streets, you should give them not just fuck you, to the government, but something else, maybe more articulated political agenda or something. So it's a little bit another type of job. And in my case particular, I decided that I should concentrate on kind of artistic self-criticism, and in relation to politics, to development of art. And only if I reach this, let's say, end of art, borders of art, I can get something really revolutionary or political. So it's my idea. So that's why I try to work with exhibition as medium, with museum, because I guess it's like final limit for art in general, like borders of art today. So if you try to operate on this field, maybe you can feel reality better, something like that.